Hey guys, welcome back. This is episode 8 of Trading to a Million by JPS Trading. This is the 2nd of September, Wednesday. We are going long today. We've had a pretty strong push overnight by the US futures. So I was feeling pretty optimistic about the open. I had some levels that I was pretty interested in on the Aussie market. It did sell off towards the earlier part or later part of the US trade. But I was expecting it to buck the trend. So I had some levels in place, obviously, as you saw on TradingView there, that I was looking for it to break through. I know there's some random levels that are highlighted there. Don't worry about those too much. They're from previous trading days, so yeah, those don't really come into play at the moment. But I'm just sort of looking at it on a higher time frame. This is just a little 2-minute chart. Sorry, a 10-minute chart. Some people use 30-minute hour. It's really just preference. When I'm doing my shorter term training on the 1 minute, I don't usually like to go too much higher than a 10 or a 30-minute chart. Obviously here it's a 15-minute on TradingView. This is just what's preset. So I'm just giving you an update about 8 a.m. here. The position that I originally went long on has gone into some profit, even taken into consideration the spread, which is fine. I was expecting this to obviously continue going into market open. You can probably see the levels that it hit earlier in trade on the IG at about 6. I'm expecting those to go through that pretty aggressively. But we're just getting to 8 a.m. now, so I'm just sort of sitting on the fence whether or not, if there is a downward spike that we see to increase my position, or just adjust my stop losses and take profits accordingly, which you obviously see in the next clip. I hope you guys are really enjoying the videos so far. I'm enjoying making them. Obviously, I'm just doing everything on the weekend, but again, here we are, 8 a.m. So we did have a little bit of a tick down. I decided to actually get another contract. So I'm about 2/3 of my maximum contract size just for the time being. This is an update. Sorry to be jumping around a little bit. 9:20, just a little bit further. There wasn't anything too exciting happening. So we have broken those levels from about 6 a.m. I was talking about a little bit earlier on, which is obviously good to see before the market open. You'll see that there'll be quite a strong aggressive push as we see coming into market open, which obviously, if we're long and it does continue to push, we're going to be on the right side of the trade, which would be good to see. Again, I was aiming to make about 40 points on this trade, so I'm looking for it to get through. Obviously, I've got about 50 in mind there, but I'm expecting it's going to struggle when it gets pretty close to about 6,000. It just seems like a very psychological level for investors and obviously the broader market as well. But just for today, as it was below that, I was expecting, obviously, if we do have a strong start, we're going to get up at least pretty close to 6,000, I would anticipate. But obviously, we don't know until obviously that occurs. This could reverse quite aggressively. We could have some news coming out. So obviously, we've just got our stop losses in place. So I just saw the US futures pushing quite aggressively just before. We're getting about 9:30 now, thereabouts, which is fine for my position, but I don't want the US futures to get away from itself, meaning that the US futures can rally, but investors domestically are only pricing in a small gain. So sometimes it takes a decision in this time that if you do see a big rally in the US futures that is unprecedented, myself, I need to decide whether or not I need to take some money off the table or just let it play out. Obviously here I was pretty confident the market was going to rally through 6,000. So I decided to actually hold. I could have definitely put some levels in place to lock in some profits. So we've averaged out about $50.70. So we did have a drop there. There was a really good opportunity actually to pick up some more there. I just wasn't quick enough on the trigger there. So I just decided to put some levels in that I could just cover some profits in if it was going to reverse. But if it's going to continue to run, then I'm happy to let it do its thing. So Aussie market opened up positive, which was good. It didn't open up as aggressively as what people were pricing it in comparison to the US, but as soon as we hit about 10 a.m., I was expecting that this was going to go quite strong. So I've just put in a take profit, like a level where I was pretty happy to lock in some profit. So it's only about 3 points, but I actually put in a buy order. So if it did get down to that level, I would have actually took on more risk than what I would have liked. So I've just put a sell order there that if it does decide to retrace completely below the levels that it opened up at, maybe it's time to take off some money off the table there. Obviously, just to protect some downside risk. But so it was consolidating a little bit, and these 10 minutes that we see from 9:50 to about 10 a.m. are always, I find, really anxious for me, because obviously the volatility spiked, but the movements can only happen so much. So it's not a very efficient move like what happens when the market, like if the market wants to go up, it's just going to continue going. But because the futures are almost held back because the assets haven't completely opened for free market trade yet, it's really just going to jump around in a tight range, which obviously if you're on the right side of the trade is fine. But we're getting pretty close to market open now. So obviously these futures are looking to extend. Clearly investors are moving in and feeling pretty optimistic about the market as well. So I was pretty pleased to see obviously that jumping up. So we're getting pretty close to about 6,000, and it was going up in a very straight line, which is great for me. But I was almost struggling to keep up with it. So I was looking for places where I could cover my profits. Sometimes in these situations, the market just goes so aggressively to the upside that every time you're moving a level that you're happy to take profit, it's going to break through a new level where you're going to have to change that again. And then it can quite easily come back and move 15 points to the downside for just profit takers. So what I did here, actually, I had a level of 6,010, which it was struggling to get close to, obviously. We're taking it for granted for a little bit. So I actually just decided to lock this in right at about $350 for the day, which is the biggest profit yet for this series so far, which is a great milestone. So I just decided to lock that in and call it a day and just get started for work. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think of the video. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Catch ya.